Thank you for joining us for our media Zoom call kickoff press conference to announce this historic championship doubleheader that's going down Saturday, September 10th from the O2 in London. These two rivalries will finally come to a head on that night, and we have all four fighters, all four ladies joining us today on the call. 7 world titles and 2 Ring Magazine belts on the line in this historic doubleheader. The main event, which was previously announced, and many of you tuned into the press conference today, will see 2-time Olympic gold medalist and WBC, WBA, IBF, and Ring Magazine middleweight champion, Claressa Shields, aiming to once again become undisputed at 160 pounds by facing her longtime rival and WBO champion, Savannah Marshall. That is our main event. And then our co-feature will showcase Mikaela Mayer, who is looking to take one step closer to becoming undisputed and the first undisputed champ at 130 pounds by putting her WBO, IBF, and Ring Magazine junior lightweight titles on the line against the WBC champion, Alycia Baumgardner. So before we get to the main event, this whole card, what we heard today, is going to be an all-ladies fight card. I'm super excited about that. It's promoted by Salida Promotions and Boxer in association with Top Rank. So kudos to everybody involved for making this happen. I'm Christina Poncher, taking you through today's call. We have media on the call. Questions will be funneled in through PR. I will then cue the media to ask questions to the fighters, but we have Mikaela Mayer on first. So we'll get started with her, and then Alycia Baumgardner will be joining us momentarily, hopefully get these two on the call together. But Mikaela, happy belated birthday, you 4th of July baby. I hope you enjoyed your birthday in training camp. Thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Yesterday kicked off training camp, so I got to be with Coach Al and Ginny on my birthday. We were in the gym working, and I'm excited. This is going to be such a great event, and I'm starting the preparation now.
Ever since you signed with Top Rank and had the opportunity to turn pro, you've always talked about it being bigger than you. You talked about wanting to make a difference and move the needle when it came to women's boxing in general. How do you feel like this card, is this what you've dreamed about in terms of kind of moving that needle and being a part of something special when it comes to women's boxing?
You're right. This is the type of vision I definitely had for the sport, but I never envisioned getting to do something this awesome and this unique, and joining the stage with Shields versus Marshall. When they first brought this to my attention and said, what do you think of this as a possibility? Contrary to what people might think, I think they think that I, didn't want it, or that, it's that Baumgardner versus Baumgardner was a main event worthy, but that is not the case. When I heard this was a possibility, I said, yes, absolutely. We have to make it happen. And I think it's a one-stop shop for the fans. And that's what it's about. That's what I'm about. I'm about putting on a show and entertaining and giving the fans the fights that they want to see. And that's one of the reasons I pushed so hard to get Mayer versus Baumgardner done this year. She didn't want to get it done this year. She wanted me to wait. She told me that over and over again. She told the press, Mikaela's going to have to wait. But that's not what women's boxing needs. And so kudos to Top Rank for giving her the offer she couldn't say no to. And here we are.
The fight will be streamed live exclusively in the US on ESPN+, both main event, co-main event, and undercards, as well as Sky Sports on the UK. I know that means a lot to you to be able to not only fight in the UK, but have your skills shown on ESPN here in this historic card, and for everybody to be able to watch a fight of this magnitude. This card itself could have been a pay-per-view. You said it, both you and Alycia could have headlined your own card, but to put something super powerful like this together and bring it to the audience worldwide, I mean, this is without a doubt the biggest fight of your career. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, every fight now in my career, I've done the groundwork and I'm in a position now. And so every fight is the biggest fight of my career. And that's like, I call that privilege pressure, right? So there's a lot of pressure on this fight, and it's huge, and it's definitely the biggest fight of my life, but this is what I asked for. This is what I wanted, and this is what it's going to take to grow women's boxing. So yeah, every fight now is big.
And we're just waiting for the word from Evan when Alycia jumps on the call and joins us, and then we will get to the media questions at that point. And I don't want to go too much into the trash talk either before she's on the call and has a chance to kind of explain some of that stuff as well. But nonetheless, were you able to tune in to the press conference between the main event fighters, Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall? And if not, just your thoughts. I mean, obviously, being a fan of women's boxing and knowing the sport the way that you do, in addition to being a professional fighter, your thoughts on the main event.
I love this. I mean, obviously, I love this main event. I was looking I'm also a fighter, but I'm also a fan when it comes to big fights like this, right? So I've been really looking forward to seeing this matchup. And I mean, I couldn't be more excited about getting to share the stage with them. You know, Claressa Shields, she's my Olympic sister, so I'll always have her back. I think she's a more well-rounded fighter, but obviously Savannah Marshall has proven to have a lot of power, and you know, she's undefeated and earned her spot and going up against Claressa Shields. So it's going to be a great fight and great for the sport, not just women's boxing, but this is great for the sport. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to be a part of it. I can see how hyped the fans are and everyone is for this. Some people think that, oh, maybe, you know, we shouldn't have combined these two cards. They should have stood alone. But to me, it's about giving back to the fans, because that's the people who support our career. That's the people who help us to build our sport and do what we love to do. So this is a one-stop shop. They get to see two of the greatest fights in women's history in one night. And I really couldn't think of a better way to give back to them and, you know, show my thanks for everything they do for us.
And I will ask Alycia the same question when she gets on. But for you, obviously, we know where the beef started with Claressa and Sav going back to the amateur days. But for you and Alycia, I mean, was it just something that kickstarted over social media, or is it simply because, you know, she has a belt in the division that you hold multiple belts? Where did the kind of the animosity between the two of you start?
I've done what I've always done, and that's chase the champions. That's what I've always done. And me and Terry Harper had a rivalry building, you know, before she got beat by Baumgardner. And now that Baumgardner is in that position, I'm going to come for her. And that is just the way it is. She seemed to take it very personally, thinking that I was trying to steal her shine or make it about me. But obviously she didn't have the same champion mindset that I've always had. And that's fight the best. She wanted me to wait. She told all the media, no, Mikaela's going to have to wait. She's going to have to come to me, blah, 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 blah. And now look, I made this fight happen for the fans 6 months after she got the title. And it's on ESPN, Sky Sports, my networks, not hers. Mayer versus Baumgardner, like I said it would be.
Yeah, I think I was listening to some of the lead up before, and it was the fact that I think she wanted to fight Choi, correct, and get another belt there, and then build this fight up and make it for undisputed at that point versus a belt holder still in Choi having another belt out there. Did you get that kind of gist as well?
Yeah, no, that's what she wanted, but that would have been a better way to go about it than saying Mayer has to wait, blah, blah, blah. It's my time. You know, the way she went about it is just so entitled, and she really hasn't done shit yet. She really hasn't. I mean, Terry Harper wasn't that big of a test. Her biggest test was Lenardatu, and she failed. So she still has a lot to prove in my eyes. You know, I get wanting to go for Choi first and making this a big undisputed fight, but just like I couldn't get the fight with Choi, she couldn't get the fight with Choi. Choi needs to be stripped of her belt. She does nothing for this era of women's boxing. She doesn't fight anybody. The people that she does fight are not top ranked. They're both subpar opponents. And she's just holding back this division and holding back women in this sport as a whole. I think she should be stripped, and it's ridiculous that none of us can get a fight with her because her team has these ridiculous standards. And if she was a true champion, she'd want to put her ass on the line and take meaningful fights, and she just doesn't.
All right. Well, while we're still waiting to get Alycia on the card, Evan, if you want to move forward with cueing some of the media, to all the media out there, raise your hand or send a direct message to Evan Korn. Your name will then be a filter to me, and then I will prompt you to ask the question to Mikaela. I can't see you guys asking the questions or anything like that. That's all goes through PR. So it looks like we have our first question being asked by Jake Donovan. Hey, Jake. Mikaela's on the call ready for you.
Great. Thank you very much, Christina. Mikaela, happy belated birthday. You look fantastic for 40, as Alycia said yesterday.
Right? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I did want to ask, you touched on it, that the sense was Eddie and Alycia both said that they were going to make you wait, that they wanted to fight Choi. Then it was going to be you for all the marbles. So my two-part question for you is, what was your time frame for when you expected this fight to happen at 130 before maybe considering chasing at 135? And how soon after Taylor Serrano did you sense that this fight was very much a possibility?
I was going to give Baumgardner this year to make this fight happen with me, because I'm going up. And same thing with Choi. After I run through Baumgardner, I'm going to give Choi a certain amount of time to accept this fight, because I'm going up to 135 no later than February 2023. And so, you know, when she couldn't get the fight with Choi, she had to go somewhere. And I was the next best option, and Top Rank gave her a offer that she could not refuse. So that's why we're here. What was the second part of the question?
Oh, just because both of you were at Taylor Serrano, just like after that fight, it seemed like that's when this fight really started to pick up steam.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it was actually right when I was in the UK. I went up to Carl Moretti and I was like, you know, we're just, you know, chit-chatting a little bit about the next move and stuff. And he's like, don't write off Baumgardner this for the next fight. I'm like, really? And he's like, all I can say is stay skinny. I'm like, okay, I got you, Carl. Like, I'm on it, no worries. And that sort of gave me hope that maybe it was gonna happen. And I knew right away, I said, they can't get that fight with Choi. Just like we know how her team is. And I'm like, Eddie cannot get that fight with Choi. He cannot get her team to agree to terms. So she's going to have to move on. And then, you know, I always knew this fight was going to be with Top Rank and ESPN, because look, Top Rank has invested 5 years into me. Baumgardner just showed up, you know, 2 fights ago, and Matchroom just got her. So there's no way they were going to give this away to her. You know, despite what they thought was going to happen, like, I'm the A side of this fight. I've always said that, and look where we are, Mayer versus Baumgardner on my network. So yeah, I started getting excited about that when Carl told me that, and then next thing you know, we were in discussion. So that's great.
Thank you, Jake. Up next, Dan Rafael. Dan.
Thank you very much, Christine. Hello, Mikaela.
Hi.
Good to talk to you today. Happy birthday, as Jake said. My question for you, you mentioned in your introductory remarks, you called Claressa your Olympic sister. And I know you guys, obviously, you're co-headlining this show, both very significant fights. Could you just describe to me your relationship with Claressa Shields? Obviously, you're Olympic teammates. I know you guys know each other a long time, but tell me a little bit about your relationship. And was this ever the kind of thing when you ladies were amateurs and chit-chatting or just having a conversation, like, hey, wouldn't it be cool someday if we're professionals fighting in a big championship doubleheader? Or was that ever even like a thing you guys would goof around about?
No. And that was never something I even spoke about, because in my mind, I always thought I'd be a multiple-time Olympian. There was no market for women in professional boxing. And I just always thought that I really, really, really wanted to just be a great Olympian and go to multiple Olympics. And I even thought I would be at 2020 and 2024. And things sort of changed for me after 2020 or 2016, sorry, when I didn't really get everything I wanted from the Olympics. I didn't feel fulfilled. And not only because I didn't get my medal, but just in a lot of other ways. I felt like boxing was overshadowed by a lot of other Americanized sports. And I just felt like it was a lot of work for little reward, and I wanted to take a risk elsewhere. So no, I never had these conversations with Claressa, but Claressa, on the contrary, always wanted to turn pro. I know she always wanted to turn pro. And so she did everything she said she was going to do, but we never talked about being on the same card together. Like I said, like, she's my Olympic sis. I'll always support her. And I know we're both doing great things for the sport, but I never really envisioned us doing something like this, and it exceeded my expectations. But it's iconic, it's amazing, and I couldn't be happier. This is exactly what the sport needs.
Do you guys talk to each other outside of your, I mean, I know you're going to have, you'll see her and the promotion for this fight. Obviously, you guys are both be in the news as it relates to the build up to this match. But in your idle time, or when you're just in training camps or in your normal life, do you guys have a relationship? Do you talk to each other? Do you like text each other, that type of thing?
Yeah, we always stay in touch. I mean, we're both so busy too, though. It's like we've been probably are due for a little me, Claressa, and Ginny get together vacation, but we just like haven't gotten around to it.
Right.
You know, we're just so busy, but we do try and stay in touch. Yes.
And I just have one other question for you. She's going over to fight Savannah in England, which is Savannah's hometown. You and Alycia are both Americans who are going to fight in England. But I just like your perspective on your first international fight as a professional. Obviously, you did it as an amateur, but just to go into that atmosphere of taking the world titles overseas and to have a fight not in your own country for the first time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that Mayer versus Baumgardner should be in the US because they're both Americans. But what they don't understand is that boxing is thriving in the UK, and women's boxing especially. And so as the businesswoman that I am, it's only smart enough to go and get my face in front of those amazing fans and in front of that market. And that's, I think Top Rank sees that as well. You know, the US is very, very hard. Me and Claressa are the only two trying to carry the weight of women's boxing in the US, and it is a very, very difficult market. And so while we continue on that quest to build women's boxing in the US, it's only right and smart of us to continue to grow our brand in countries that have already stepped up to the plate when it comes to, you know, welcoming women into the sport. And, you know, boxing there is like football here. So we would be stupid to not go over there and try and break into that market as well.
Thank you, Dan. Mikaela, we have Cole Winston up next. Cole?
Hi, Mikaela. Again, happy belated birthday. I'm sure this won't be the last time you hear that today. My first question for you, you mentioned Alycia Baumgardner and how Terry Harper wasn't even her toughest test. I want to know, do you look at Baumgardner as your toughest fight of your career?
No, I don't. I think that listen, I'm not saying that she's not a good fighter. She's good. She does what she does well, but she does that only. She's a very one-dimensional fighter to me. And to me, my toughest test is someone who's going to take me out of my comfort zone. I know how to box. I had to learn how to fight on the inside. Coach Al was preparing me for someone like Hamadouche my entire career, my entire time with him, the past 13 years with him. He's been secretly preparing me for someone like that, teaching me how to fight on the inside because he didn't want me to be a one-dimensional fighter. So I've had my tests. Baumgardner has not. She has not been tested. And the one time she lost. She didn't come out on top. And so I know that if someone wants to stand and box with me, I'm in my comfort zone. If someone wants to come and be aggressive and get me on the inside and rough me up, I'm still now that I have the experience, in my comfort zone. She can't say that. She needs to keep her opponents at bay and do what she does. And she's never had someone step to her and take her to the deep waters. And that's what I'm going to do to her. And she won't know how to handle it.
Sounds good. One more question. In terms of 2 minutes, 3 minute rounds, obviously it was presented at the first press conference in Katie Taylor made of Toronto. I want to know if that's already been decided or if, you know, that's still up in the air and what's going on with that for these two fights.
I would love 3 minute rounds. I think it favors my style. Baumgardner can go around saying that she's a one punch knockout artist when she's only done that to one elite fighter. I'm not. I break you down in over time, right? And if I ever had 2 or 3 minutes more in some of my past fights, they would have been done for. So that's my style, and I think it's just as dangerous and it's just as effective. And I think it would favor me, but that's not what they're allowing right now. The WBC is doing research. They said, you know, I spoke to Mauricio about it, and they're sort of the ones that are drawing the line when it comes to allowing women to go 3 minute rounds. And he says it's because they've done the research, and so far the research doesn't support it. But he said he's continuing to do the research, which I'm encouraging, because you can't even whatever data you have, even from 2-3 years ago, it doesn't add up to where women's boxing is now. And as we evolve, we have to continue to the data and continue to allow us to evolve in the sport. I think we're ready for 3 minute rounds, especially for these world title fights against these top contenders like myself, like Claressa. So I'm hoping that gets changed very soon, but as of now, it's not happening.
All right, we're going to get to the main event in just a few minutes. It looks like we're still having technical difficulties trying to get Alycia Baumgardner on the call in just these next few minutes before we have to get to the main event. In any event that we can get her on and we get these technical difficulties sorted out, we will have her on post main event. So stay with us throughout the call. It would have been great to get you two together on this call, but it's not Alycia's fault. We're just having some problems trying to get her logged in here. So I apologize for those issues. We're going to get to Joey Mills for, I think, maybe the last question or two here for Mikaela before we move on to our main event. Joey?
Thank you very much, Mikaela. I've got to say, as everyone else has said, happy birthday for yesterday.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to get your thoughts, obviously, after how huge it is. Now we've got this absolutely massive card coming up in London now that you're going to be a part of. 2022 really feels like a huge year for women's boxing. And I just wanted to hear your take on how far the sport has come in your time as a boxer.
Oh my God, it's come so far. You know, Coach Al keeps asking me, like, did you ever think that you would be here? Did you ever think that you'd be this far in your career and that everything would be happening this way? And I'm like, yes, Coach, yes. I always believed this was going to be, that I was going to have this type of career. Yes, I always believed that. But I understand how most people wouldn't. You know, I saw the vision that a lot of people couldn't see, and that's why I am where I am today. So it's come so far. I am so happy to be a part of this era of women's boxing. I think that we're changing the narrative, and this fight card right here is a perfect example of that. Getting two of the greatest women fights at the same time, giving the fans an easy one-stop shop. And yeah, I couldn't be happier to be a part of it. I think we're all on track, and I don't think that women's boxing will ever disappear again. And I say again because I feel like it did after that era with Layla Ali and Mia St. John and Wolf and all them. And there's like a whole decade where women's boxing just wasn't even a thing. And we're back for good. I know that the talent pool is just too deep. And there's some young girls coming up that are just going to blow everyone out of the water. So I'm really excited. And I feel like if my career would end tomorrow, that I did the absolute best that I could. I hope it does. And I still have so much more that I want to accomplish and so much more that I need to get done. But I feel like I did my best and we're in a good place.
And just one more quick one. Obviously, you're returning to the UK. The last time you were here, you called it the land of the Spice Girls. So I have to get your thoughts. What is your favorite Spice Girls song?
Someone else asked me this. When you love something as much as the Spice Girls, there's no favorite song. Like, I know every single song on every single album, word for word. But I may reveal what my favorite is come fight week. You guys will see. But I had to do that because really growing up, Spice Girls was my only connection and affiliation to the UK. Like, that's all I knew was, oh, the Spice Girls are from there. So still a huge fan. Still, I mean, I had a 22-hour drive here to camp and I like blasted them the whole time. So it's a thing.
That would be epic for like a Spice Girls reunion and then walk you to the ring. I mean, come on.
I would just die. I would just die if we can even get
there. I know. Okay, Mikaela, before we let you go, it's a bummer that we didn't get Alycia on the call with you at the same time, but I just want to give you a minute or two for a final word as you're getting camp started and as we made the announcement for this historic night coming up on September 10th at the O2 Arena in the UK. One final word from you, Mikaela.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be the most entertaining card you've ever seen. And I am so excited to announce that it's going to be all females. That's just amazing. If you're in America, please start busting your butt, stacking your cash. Everyone get over there. We need all the American sport as well. I want you guys to experience this also. And I'm just really excited to get in front of the UK fans for the first time.
We love it. We cannot wait. I'm sure the build up to this fight, as it has already become quite entertaining on social media, will continue and then culminate in the ring when you guys set the tone for the co-main event coming up September 10th from O2 Arena on ESPN Plus and Sky Sports in the UK. Mikaela, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
All right. Bye, Mikaela.
Bye.
All right. We are going to get to our main event now. I'm going to bring in both fighters from our main event. We're going to start with the WBO champion, Savannah Marshall. She'll be taking on the WBC, WBA, and IBF Ring Magazine champion, promoted by Salida Promotions, in Claressa Shields. We're going to get started with Sav first. I know, Savannah, are you joining me? Are you here? Are you on?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you see me?
Hi, Savannah. Oh, look at, she's on the road. She's ready to go. We won't take up too much of your time, as I know that you've been talking all morning, starting with that very entertaining press conference that we got the chance to watch here bright and early in the States. But your thoughts to all the media that's tuned in here. I'm Christina Poncher, by the way. Let me introduce myself to you, as we've never had the chance to meet before. But your thoughts on this historic event. I mean, 7 world titles on the line, 2 Ring Magazine championships between you and the fighters in the co-main event. Your thoughts on the event, historic event as a whole.
It's amazing. It's massive for women's boxing. I think women's boxing at the minute in the UK is absolutely booming. So for the UK to host 2 massive fights, it's unbelievable. You
had the chance to go face to face with Claressa today, exchange some words back and forth. Many have talked about, you just being able to come out of your shell a little bit more, and maybe that's getting with Peter, or I'm not really sure, but where is this confidence and you finally being able to show a little bit more of your personality to people? Where is that coming from? Just your success in the pros so far?
Yeah, I've 100% just been given the opportunity. Like I said, headlining my last couple of shows. I've been in the spotlight and been given the opportunity to speak my mind.
Yeah, so once you get the chance, you're knocking it out of the park. And speaking of knocking it out of the park, we have the other part of the main event, the the WBC, WBA, IBF, and Ring Magazine champ, promoted by Salida Promotions. Claressa Shields, you're joining us now. Claressa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, can you see me?
I got you now. There you are. Thank you for joining us as well. So now we have both you and Sav on the call. We also have media members tuned in, and they're going to be able to ask you guys some questions here in just a moment. But I asked Sav, and I want to ask you the same thing. Just quickly, your thoughts on this historic card, this event, all women's card, 7 belts on the line, 2 Ring Magazine belts on the line. I mean, this is pretty epic, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I'm happy that we're having this card. I'm happy to have Mikaela Mayer and Alycia Baumgardner on the card, and to add the more women on there. I think it's going to be a great show, and to be here in London at the O2 Arena is just huge.
Yeah, the biggest audience, no doubt, for your professional creating Mikaela too. She said she never really dreamed of this because she thought she was going to be an Olympian for many more years to come. But she said, I know Claressa always wanted to turn pro, and maybe she had these dreams, but I never thought it would happen on a stage like this. So making dreams come true in both main event and co-main event. We have some media already tuned in. They've been anxiously waiting, so we'll just get right to it. Jeremy, you're up first. Go ahead. Just please acknowledge if you want your question to be for Savannah or for Claressa.
Yes, I'm going to ask this question for Claressa. Claressa, thank you for taking the time. You said in the press conference that you have a strong dislike for Savannah. What particularly is it about Savannah where that's kind of caused that dislike? Is it comments, or is it something other than that?
It's just how she kind of trolled me on the internet, like when she say all this mean stuff. I think it's disrespectful, and then she tried to take away from my accomplishments, saying that, I wouldn't be a 3-time division world champion if she would have got a chance to fight for the belts first. And that's not true, and that's taken away from my hard work, and I don't like that.
All right. I guess we are one and done with these questions. We've got a lot of media waiting to talk to you, ladies. Cynthia Conti, what's up, Cynthia?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Claressa, Mikaela was just on the call talking about being on the same card with you guys. Who floated that idea? Was it your team? Did you and Mikaela talk about it, or was that just a promotional idea?
I've always wanted women to be on the undercard, but I didn't have no idea that they would be on the card. I think I found out when I went to Arizona to train with Henry Cejudo, and one of my close friends mentioned it to me, and I was like, "Are you for real?" And I was like, I hadn't heard nothing about it. So I reached out to my manager. He wanted to surprise me because he knows I love Mikaela. And he was like, yeah, we're working on it. I didn't want to tell you till it was solidified. And I was like, oh my God, this is just too great.
Good luck to you, and I can't wait to hopefully be there in person to support all of my my Americans. And then Savannah Marshall, also for you, we've seen you in social media that you have the only one, I believe, from what everyone knows, that you have that one win over Claressa Shields in the amateurs, and obviously you've ridden on that. And Claressa's a very, very decorated fighter, boxer, Olympian, everything. What makes you think, be honest, Savannah, what makes you think you're going to be able to knock her out or take the victory and be fully undisputed?
I believe I'm a better fighter than Claressa Shields. Cynthia.
Point blank, period. That's it. That's all that she needed to say. Cynthia, I know you didn't have a chance to follow up on that.
I think a child was calling. I think she had other places she needed to be.
Yeah. Definitely family's a priority.
Sorry, can we do my questions now? Because I'm at the train station. I've got a train to catch at half 5. So I need to be quick.
Keith Eidig, do you have a question here for Savannah Marshall?
Yes. Can she just elaborate? She just said that she feels she's a better fighter than Claressa. Can she elaborate on why she feels she's better than her and what she'll be able to do in the fight to prove that?
I just believe that I've got a better boxing brain than Claressa. I believe I'm more skilled than Claressa, and I believe that I'm just more determined.
Interesting.
Claressa just mentioned that she feels like you've diminished her accomplishments. What do you feel she's done for women's boxing? What do you feel she has accomplished? How do you look at it?
I think she's done amazing for women's boxing. I really do. And if it wasn't for what she's achieved, would this be as big as what it is? Probably not.
Okay, I'll give someone else a chance to ask Savannah some questions. Thanks.
Actually, I think we're going to let Savannah go now as she's got to catch a train. But Champ, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate you. We look forward to moving forward in the promotion with you. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Claressa, you still with us though, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm here.
Okay. Dan Raphael, you want to go ahead with a question for the quote?
Thank you very much, Christina. I was going to ask this question also to Savannah, but now I guess, Claressa, you can have the floor to yourself. As has been mentioned, she does have that one amateur victory over you, the only loss you've ever suffered, be it as a professional or an amateur. I wonder if you could just maybe, Claressa, give me some reflections on that fight, if you remember that amateur loss and what the circumstances were and how close was it and how much has it sort of annoyed you ever since that she's pretty much lived her whole professional life off of that one win?
When we fought in the amateurs, it wasn't a world championship, and the Olympics was in London was hosting the Olympics. So all of their girls made it to the Olympics. I was the favorite to win the world championships. I had been scoring 30 to 27 points every fight because it was a point system. But for this fight particularly, the judges only said that I scored 8 points versus her 14. I don't know how that happened because I know for sure every fight, and we all know that I'm going to throw more punches than my opponent. I'm going to stalk my opponent. And, she said that she outboxed me, but she really ran and she held. And I just remember getting her in the corner where I finally wanted her. And I won, and I thought the ref was jumping in to break us to give her an 8 count because she started folding in the corner. And the ref just jumped in and told us to get back to the center of the ring. And that's how but starting from the second round, I was trailing by 3 points the entire time. So, and then the third round, the fourth round, I got just so frustrated. I started running forward, throwing punches. And I feel like that's the round where she landed her other 3 points and she beat me 8 points to 14, but she didn't hurt me. I wasn't bruised up after the fight. I didn't have any cuts. And it was a fight that I lost, but I just remember feeling that I had won the fight because I watched the fight over and over and over again. And I just couldn't understand how my points weren't being counted. But I knew that I would do better in the Olympics.
So Claressa, with the 2 gold medals and all the world championships and multiple weight classes, I think you were 77-1 as an amateur. Obviously, you're undefeated as a professional. How important is it to you to you've never had to revenge anything because this is your only defeat. So how big of a deal is it to put this to rest and avenge what has to be just sort of, I know based on the trash talk between you two women has sort of stuck in your craw for a long time. How big will it be to put that to rest?
I mean, I'm just happy that I'll be able to show that why I reign, GOAT, why I'm the greatest woman of all time. It's not just because I say it. It's because I've taken on the best challenges wherever, whenever, against whoever, and I've beaten them. If they feel that this is the girl who's going to knock me out and she's going to, take all my belts and all this stuff, I want to give the fans in the world a chance to witness this fight and to see that everything I've been saying is that I'm not cocky. I am confident, and I believe 100% in my skills, in my offense, my defense, and in my power. And I believe that I'm a great boxer, and I am the greatest woman of all time. And she doesn't have what it takes to beat me, because if she's saying that, oh, first she was saying she's gonna knock me out in the second round, but then she started saying she's gonna hurt me and outbox me. But I was hurt by Hannah Gabriel's up in the first round, and I came back throughout that fight and won unanimously. So the only way that she'll be able to get the victory over me is to use her one knockout punch power, and she got to land clean. And when she land clean, if I go down, she has to deal with me getting back up. And I'm going to be mad as hell if I got to get back up. So, yeah.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. We're going to keep it moving. We have Ismail Abdul Salam on the card. Or on the call. Excuse me. You want to get on the call? Sorry, it's all ladies. Ismail, sorry, we can't get you on this one, but we can get you on the call though. Go ahead.
Appreciate you. Claressa, I wanted to ask you, based on the press conference, Savannah said that she feels she has the bigger IQ than you. What do you feel about her boxing IQ? And she also mentioned she feels she has bigger heart. What do you think about Savannah's heart and her IQ based on the fights that you've seen so far?
I can't believe you said that she got hurt. That was just insane right there. She don't have no heart. She won't fight against no girl unless it's a week notice, 3 weeks notice. 3 days notice, or it's a girl fighting at 147 coming up to 160. She hasn't fought against a true 160 pounder or a girl who's near her size. So her talking about she got hurt, that's a myth. But as far as her got better IQ than me, all the girls that beat her and the amateurs, I beat them the next day. So no, she don't have a better IQ than me. She got lucky the night that we won. That she won the world championships, but that's just luck. But you can't say that she's better than me. And we fought in 4 different tournaments together. We've been pro at the same time. You were signed to Mayweather Promotions, and you still didn't accomplish nothing. But I'm a 12-time world champ, and you're a 1-time world champ. But you say that, you're a better fighter than me. That's just inaccurate. No, she's not. She can't box better than me, not a better IQ. And she was already talking about retiring after the fight. So if she's already got that mindset, we all know what's going on. Payday.
And my last question, I noticed at the press conference, you had a smile on your face when you mentioned possibly being able to stop her late in like the 8th or the 9th round. So I wonder if that's kind of a little bit of your game plan, just to punish her and take her out late. Would you get immense satisfaction from that?
Yeah, she got to feel this pain. If I can get her out earlier, I will. But I know that I think she's sturdy, and she do have a little bit of size on me as far as her height. But I think she's going to be very, very shocked at how strong I am and how hard I punch, especially going into the later rounds.
Thank you, Claressa. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Keith, Evan's going to bring you back in here because I know you didn't get a chance to ask Claressa a question as Savannah signed off. So Keith.
Thanks, Christina. Claressa, how you doing? Claressa, can you hear me?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you? I can hear you.
I'm doing well. Was there a point this kind of dragged on for a while? I can, thank you. This kind of dragged on for a while, longer than I'm sure that you thought that it would. Was there a point where you thought that this fight was not going to happen for some reason?
The fight definitely wasn't going to happen if it was after September 10th, for sure. And I made it known to Boxer and to Sky that they all know how much I wanted this fight, but I'm a double, sport athlete, a double combat sport athlete. So I've already been contractually, for this fight in November with the PFL. and I have to train for that, you know, and they knew that before I signed with them. So the fight was supposed to be July 9th or July 30th. So when it started getting pushed back, you know, September 3rd, September 10th, I said, listen, you guys, if it's any date after September 10th, I will not be there because I have other obligations. And at this point in time, MMA is harder than boxing for me. So I need to put in the time and the work for MMA in order to go out there and do well in November.
Claressa, what is the date for your PFL fight?
Late November.
Late November. And do you feel that she didn't want the fight? Obviously, she took it ultimately, but did you feel that she did not want it?
I feel like she said she wanted, but I feel like she didn't want it because she knows that her 5 minutes of fame is up. She knows that all her trash talk and everything that she said is going to be exposed. And but she said my name so much and, you know, talked about me so much that, you know, when she signed with, because the fight was almost done with me when she was with Eddie Hearn. We were almost at a deal. But then all of a sudden she left Eddie Hearn. And then Eddie Hearn reached out like, hey, you know, we can have you fight this girl and have you fight that girl, but Savannah Marshall is no longer with us. And we were like, that's the only reason we was talking to you. So after we found that she was with Boxer reached out to us and said, hey, were you guys serious about the fight with Savannah Marshall? Like, that's the biggest fight that we can make for her. And we would love to make it. So when they reached out and we were like, yeah, let's do it. And they already knew the numbers and they got everything in order quickly. The only thing that's been like setting the fight back is, you know, Savannah Marshall, you know, with her faking her injuries.
Thank you, Claressa.
No problem.
We have time for a few more. Ellie, are you on the call?
Yeah, I am.
Go ahead, Ellie.
Hey, Claressa, how's it going?
What's up, Ellie? What's up, man?
I'm good. So first of all, I saw they had you as the underdog, and I'm very confused. I learned a lot of people, like Shakur said he's going to make money. Keyshawn Davis said he's going to make money. But how do you feel that they're having you as the underdog in this fight?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that stuff gets made, but I know that hey, it is what it is. I thought it was pretty funny, but maybe the odds will change as we get closer to the fight.
And then I wanted to ask you, recently you got a street named after you, and we've never seen that. That happens after most people retire. How did it feel to have a street named after you? What does that mean? Is the value of the property going up now?
To have a street named after me was just so great. You know, it wasn't just a street, but it was a street that my grandmother raised me on. And that's where I discovered boxing at, where I discovered that I was an athlete at. You know, my grandma's where I discovered love at. So to have that street now be named Claressa Shields means everything. And yeah, yesterday's price is not today's price for sure.
I love it. And it won't be the same price if everything goes your way. September 10th. I think we have time for maybe one more question here. Junior Bell, are you on the call here for Claressa?
Yes, Christina. This is J.R. Bell here.
J.R. Sorry,
yes.
J.R.
Oh, no problem. Claressa, just going over your deal, you know, alongside Demetrius Salita and with Boxer, how is it to finally have this culminate and have the fight that you've been looking for pretty much your whole career?
It definitely feels good. And I just want to say, like, right now that Salita Promotions has never failed me. You know, when I first met Demetrius Salita and he asked me what were my goals, I said I want to be world champ in my 7th fight. And I was world champ in my 4th fight. You know, and I told him I want to be undisputed champ, you know, against whoever the champion was. You know, and I'm like, give me the best, and I want to fight the best every fight. And he just shook his head and said, yes, we're going to make it happen. And after I beat Christina Hammer, I had told him, like, I'm not fighting for no less than $350K moving forward. And he made sure that I got $350K, you know, for those fights after that. In women boxing back then, you know, we weren't being paid like that. So the fact that I was making these demands and he was right behind me saying, yes, you deserve this. Yes, we're going to make it happen. And I was fighting against the best. Salita Promotions has been great to be with. And even just Demetrius Salita, like, I just love him so much because he was actually a fighter. We've gotten in the ring and we sparred together. And to have a promoter that understands like the gruesome training that we put ourselves through, like the diet, just the mental stress and the physical stress. He's always there asking me, hey, is there anything else I can do? What all do you need? And if there's anything that I ever need, he always makes sure he comes through for me. And he comes and visits me every single camp, you know, and make sure that I'm feeling good and everything. So I'm just happy to be a part of City Promotions and, you know, to be on here with Boxer, to be over here in the UK. I think it's great for women's boxing and for all of us.
Okay, last one, Joey Mills.
Brilliant, thank you. Hi, Claressa, great to speak to you. I just wanted to ask, going into this fight, is Savannah Marshall the best fighter that you fought as a professional? And why do you feel yes or no is the answer?
No, I don't think she's the best fighter that I fought against in my career, because I fought against all girls who were either the champion or number two or former champions. I think that as far as skill-wise, the best fighter that I fought against, skill-wise, I will say is skill-wise, I've been so much better than all of them. I want to see probably Ivana Habazin. She has some great skill, but the biggest puncher that I fought against is Franchon Cruz. You know, she was very, very sturdy, tough, and I mean, just had a really, really big wicked punch.
That's great. Thank you, Claressa.
No problem.
Thanks, Joey. All right, Claressa, before we wrap some things up, for everybody that's watching and everyone that will be able to watch this afterwards on YouTube and various social media platforms, your final words as you get ready to kick off camp here soon. Mikaela's already started camp, either to Savannah or everyone, and why they should make sure to tune in to this event on ESPN Plus in the States, Sky Sports in the UK, and then of course buy tickets if they can get to the O2 Arena.
I think everybody should come to this fight because it's the biggest fight in women's history. We have a stacked card with myself, Savannah Marshall, and Alycia Baumgardner versus Mikaela Mayer. Buy your tickets and be on the right side of history. Watch the fight because you want to be there up in real time. So watch it on ESPN Plus, watch it on Sky Sports in the UK, and just know that I'm going to be training very, very hard, and also tune into my docu-series. I'm having an ESPN docu. Actually, really, it's a documentary leading up to this fight. So make sure that you guys go on ESPN Plus and watch my 4 episodes of my docu-series, and then get ready to watch a documentary after this fight.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I love to hear about that, and we'll be looking forward to that, as well as I'm sure you'll promote that on your social media platforms. And before you go, Chris, I just wanted to say congratulations on your engagement as well back in March.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that showed up a little bit higher. That's pretty icy right there. Let everybody see that.
Somebody love me.
A lot of people love you, and a lot of people are very thankful, including this woman in boxing right here. Although I'm not in the ring, I'm commentating outside of it, and everything that you've done for the sport for women. I personally truly appreciate you, and I look forward to being a part of this event on September 10th. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate those kind words. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you to all the fighters that have joined us on the card. Again, Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall in the main event. Mikaela Mayer and Alycia Baumgardner, who unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we are not going to be able to get on this call, but hopefully you already know those two. No shortage of words being exchanged on social media. They are very accessible, so I'm sure you will be hearing from both of them very soon. So for everybody involved, again, promoted by Salita Promotions in association, and Boxer in association with Top Rank, September 10th, O2 Arena in London. Ticket information coming soon. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in. I'm Christina Poncher, and we'll see you soon.